Uh, Stop everything right now. Because what's happening around you in this exact moment isn't random, it's not another false start. This time, something fundamental is cracking open. Um, the signal I'm receiving, it's different from anything I've channeled in weeks. There's a rupture occurring in your reality. A pattern that's held you captive for years is losing its grip right now. As you're listening to these words, okay, let's see what this energy brings. You know that loop you've been stuck in? The one where you swear this time will be different, then 3 months later you're back in the same emotional prison? That specific pattern, whether it's choosing unavailable people, sabotaging success right before it lands, or playing small when you know you're capable of more. That cycle, it's fragmenting. And I don't mean it's fading slowly. I mean something inside you has fundamentally shifted. A wire has been cut, a spell has been broken, and the old program is trying to run but finding no traction. Um, Hold on, let's sit with this for a moment. Here's what I'm picking up on. Recently, maybe in the past few days, maybe in the past few hours, you made a different choice. A small one, perhaps, something that looked insignificant on the surface, but energetically, it was massive. You said no when you usually say yes. You walked away from a conversation you would normally engage with. You didn't check their social media. You honored your boundary even though it felt uncomfortable. And that choice, that's the thread that's unraveling everything. I'm sensing discomfort right now for many of you because breaking cycles doesn't feel triumphant at first. It feels destabilizing. The familiar, even when toxic, provides a strange comfort. And when you step away from it, there's this void, this uncertainty, this terrifying freedom. Your nervous system is screaming, go back, it's safer there. But your soul knows better. Your soul is exhaling for the first time in years. Let me tell you what cycles actually are. They're not just bad habits, they're survival mechanisms that outlived their usefulness. At some point, that pattern protected you, it kept you safe, it helped you navigate a reality you couldn't control any other way. But you're not that person anymore. You've outgrown the protection, and now it's just a cage. Here, I feel a slightly different energy. Some of you have been aware of your cycle for a long time. You've analyzed it, journaled about it, talked about it in therapy, understood it intellectually, but understanding didn't free you. What's freeing you now isn't more awareness, it's embodied choice. It's your body refusing to participate. It's visceral rejection of what no longer serves you. And that kind of shift, that's cellular, that's permanent. I want to ask you something. Have you noticed how different you feel lately? Not in big, obvious ways, but in subtle ones. Less tolerance for drama, less interest in explaining yourself, less capacity for relationships that drain you. That's not you becoming cold, that's you becoming clear. What pattern have you been repeating that you're finally done with? Even if you can't fully articulate it, what does your gut say? I'm also picking up on resistance from your environment. People around you might be reacting strangely to your shift, getting uncomfortable, pushing back, trying to pull you back into old dynamics. And that's actually confirmation. Systems resist change. People benefit from your patterns, even unconsciously. When you stop playing your role, it disrupts their entire setup. Let them be uncomfortable. Their discomfort isn't your responsibility. Let's see, what else is here? I'm sensing a temptation that might arise soon. The old pattern is going to present itself one more time. Not because the universe is testing you, but because that's how neural pathways work. They fire one last time, seeking the familiar groove. And you'll recognize it immediately. The person, the situation, the invitation back into the cycle. And for a split second, you might consider it. That consideration is normal. What you do after it is what matters. I'm picking up on grief too. And this might sound strange, but you're grieving the loss of your suffering, the identity you built around your struggle, the story you've been telling about why things are the way they are. When you break the cycle, you lose that narrative. And narratives, even painful ones, give us coherence, structure, a role to play. So if you feel sad right now, even as you're breaking free, that's okay. Grief and liberation can coexist. Here's something else I'm tuning into. This break isn't happening because everything is perfect now. It's happening because you've reached your threshold, that invisible line where the pain of staying the same finally exceeded the fear of changing. You didn't become suddenly enlightened. You just got exhausted enough to try something different. And sometimes exhaustion is the greatest teacher. I'm also sensing new people entering your field soon, but they'll be different from anyone you've attracted before because you're operating from a different frequency now, and frequency determines who can access you. The ones who thrived on your old pattern, they won't resonate with this version of you. They'll fall away naturally, no drama required, and new alignments will emerge. People who meet you where you are, who don't need you to be smaller, who aren't threatened by your growth. Let's talk about what happens next. Because breaking a cycle isn't a one time event, it's a series of micro choices, daily recommitments, moments where you consciously choose the new path even when the old one beckons. And some days will be harder than others. Some days you'll feel strong and clear, other days you'll question everything. That's the messy middle. And it's where most people give up and slide back. But you're not going to do that. Want to know how I know? Because you're here. Because something in you recognized this message. Because your soul is done pretending the cage is a home. I'm picking up on physical sensations too. Some of you might notice changes in your body, better sleep, less tension in your jaw, more energy, or conversely, a release that feels like exhaustion as stored stress finally exits your system. Your body knows before your mind catches up. Trust what your body is telling you. Here I feel something about forgiveness. Not for others, though, that might come eventually, but for yourself, for all the times you went back, for all the years you spent in the loop, for not seeing it sooner, for not leaving earlier. You need to release that self-judgment. Because you were doing the best you could with the awareness you had, and now you have new awareness. That's growth, not failure. I'm also sensing that some of you might be afraid of who you'll become without this cycle. It's been such a defining feature of your life. So much of your identity is wrapped up in the struggle, the pattern, the story. Who are you without it? That's the question you get to answer now. And the answer doesn't have to come immediately. You can discover it slowly through experimentation, through trying on new ways of being. Let's see what else needs to come through. I'm picking up on celebration, but it's quiet. Not fireworks, not a parade, just a deep internal knowing that something has fundamentally shifted, a peace that wasn't there before, a lightness, and that's worth acknowledging. Even if no one else sees it, even if it's invisible to the outside world, you know, and that's enough. I also want to address the void. When you remove a pattern that's consumed so much of your energy, there's suddenly all this space, all this time, all this mental and emotional bandwidth. And your first instinct might be to fill it immediately with a new relationship, a new project, a new distraction. Resist that urge. Sit in the space, let it teach you, let yourself get comfortable with emptiness before you rush to fill it. Because the quality of what you build next depends on the foundation of this pause. What would you do with your life if you weren't spending energy on this cycle anymore? Who would you become if that bandwidth was redirected toward your actual dreams? Here's what I'm also picking up on. This break is going to ripple outward. It's not isolated to one area of your life. When you break a core cycle, it affects everything: your work, your relationships, your creativity, your health, because cycles are interconnected. Heal one, and the others start to shift too. So, watch for unexpected changes in areas you weren't even focused on. That's the cascade effect of real transformation. As I'm closing this reading, I need you to hear this clearly. What's happening right now is sacred. It's the culmination of every hard moment you've endured, every time you questioned whether you'd ever change, every moment you felt stuck and hopeless. This is the payoff, not in some dramatic external shift, but in the internal revolution that makes everything else possible. Don't diminish it. Don't rush past it. Don't underestimate the magnitude of what's occurring. You're breaking the cycle right now, in this moment, and nothing will be the same. Stay committed. Stay conscious. Stay present. The old version of your life is disintegrating. Let it. Thank you for being here. If this resonated, share in the comments. What cycle are you breaking? What does freedom feel like for you right now? This is your moment. Don't look back.